Start cooking at 3 a.m. My mom ordered my 16-year-old daughter. Make sure it's perfect this time, my sister added. She just smiled and said sure. But at 1 a.m. on Christmas morning, we were already at the airport, while 40 relatives arrived to a cold kitchen and an empty house. You know that feeling? That gut-wrenching moment when you realize you've been playing a part your whole life, letting people walk all over you, and then they try to do it to your kid? For me, that moment hit on Christmas Eve, when my own family tried to turn my 16-year-old daughter into a 3 a.m. short-order cook for 40 people. And honestly, my blood ran cold. My name's Henry. I'm 41, a clinical psychologist, and for most of my life, I've been the designated fixer in my family. Divorced 5 years ago, I'm a full-time dad to Mia, who, at 16, is already kinder and smarter than most adults I counsel. My life is pretty simple. A quiet apartment, a coffee habit I pretend to control, and a little cash jar in the pantry, labeled Mia's Trip Fund. In our family group chat, I'm Mr. Boundaries. In real life, I'm the guy who shows up with jumper cables, the one who just knows a guy when the water heater dies, the one who quietly pays the bill before anyone else even reaches for a wallet. It happened slowly, then all at once. My generosity became expected, and then it became demanded. Christmas Eve used to be my favorite. Mia and I have our own tradition. Dumplings, a terrible movie, hot chocolate with way too many marshmallows. But this year, my mother decided to bring back tradition. Translation? I bring the food, my sister Lauren brings the criticism, and mom brings a guest list that multiplies like rabbits. By late afternoon, I'd already dropped off trays of ingredients at mom's, even tested her oven because it runs cool. I was trying to convince myself it would be fine. I actually told Mia, we'll keep it simple. It's just family. She just smirked. You say that every year, Dad. At 6 p.m., we walked in, arms laden with bags. The dining room was already staged like a wedding reception. 40 place cards, a glittering banner that screamed, family first, and 2 coolers of champagne I'd never agreed to buy, sweating on the counter. Lauren spotted us. She didn't even say hello. She just snapped her fingers at Mia, like my daughter was a caterer. Aprons in the drawer. Start cooking at 3 a.m., okay? Guests arrive at noon, and make sure everything's perfect this time. Mia glanced at me. It was a quiet look, but I knew what it meant. She's 16, but she's nobody's servant. Before I could even open my mouth, Mom swept in, handed Mia a printed guest list with highlighted dietary restrictions. You heard your aunt, she said, her voice like ice. Start at 3. Do not be late. Last year the food was dry, and people noticed. My jaw tightened. People noticed is Mom's favorite line. It means obey, or be shamed later. Mia didn't flinch. She just smiled a small, calm smile, the one she uses when she's done being polite. Sure, she said. One word. Soft. Deadly. I caught the glint in her eye, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't rush to smooth it over. In therapy, we call it triangulation. When someone drags an innocent third person into a two-person conflict. My mother and sister had just tried it on my daughter. They expected me to fold. I didn't. I said nothing. I just watched. Dinner prep turned into a briefing. Mom stood like a manager conducting a pre-shift meeting. Table linens must be ironed. Gluten-free section labeled. Lauren piped up. We don't need help with money this year, if Henry behaves. And then, don't forget, we're doing gifts at 10 a.m., so Henry, no cheap, quirky books this time. People want cash. Mia squeezed my wrist. Just once. I looked at Mom, then at Lauren. We'll see you tomorrow. Mom's smile thinned. No, you'll sleep here. You need to be in the kitchen by 3. I have my own kitchen, I said, my voice dangerously even. People noticed last year, she repeated, as if it were an ancient law. We left, coats half on. As I opened the door, Mom's voice, syrupy sweet, called after us. Don't make this about you, Henry. It's Christmas. The elevator doors closed. Mia leaned her head on my shoulder. Do we have to? She whispered. I stared at our reflection in the stainless steel. 2 tired people who had spent years being good sports. I could already hear Lauren complaining, in that crisp way she has, like every sentence is a receipt for something I owe. No, I said. We don't. At 1 a.m. on Christmas morning, Mia and I were at the airport. 2 backpacks, 1 small suitcase. The terminal was quiet, the floors glowing like they'd been polished just for us. Our tickets buzzed green at the gate. My phone lit up with the family chat, pings lining up like hailstones. We didn't answer. Back at my mother's house, 40 hungry relatives would arrive to a cold kitchen and a handwritten note taped to the oven door that said, plans changed. Merry Christmas. I put my phone face down and looked at my kid. Window or aisle? Window, she said. And then, after a beat, thanks for choosing me. The first announcement crackled over the speakers. I closed my eyes. My heart hammered. Not from the flight. From finally stepping out of a story I'd been cast in since I was a teenager. I had no idea what would detonate when we landed. I only knew we weren't going to be there to cook for it. I became the responsible one, because it was easier to be praised for fixing things than criticized for having needs. Dad left when I was 12. Mom turned survival into theater. Lauren learned to perform in the spotlight. I learned to build the stage, pay for the lights, and clap on cue. When I got my first job as a school counselor, Mom called to say the fridge had died. I bought a new one. When Lauren's lease fell through, I co-signed the next one, just until she gets on her feet. When our uncle got sick, I drove Mom to appointments, took notes, and quietly covered the bill insurance didn't. Stitched another thread between my wallet and their expectations. The thread became rope. The rope, a leash. When I started private practice, the leash tightened. "You're a doctor now," Mom would say loudly at parties. We're so proud. She'd hit the word doctor hard, not because she cared about the title, but because it meant something in her secret currency. Henry can afford it. Lauren perfected the art of the ask. She never said, "Can you help?" She said, "Transfer $400 tonight. Rent is due." If I hesitated, she'd toss in, "Mom's blood pressure is up. Don't stress her." I'd send the money, telling myself it was temporary, that one day the family would stabilize, and I would go back to being just a son and a brother, not a sponsor. Mia was born when I was 25. Her mother and I didn't make it, but we made peace. Co-parenting taught me that love is logistics, pickups, drop-offs, field trips, the right color jersey on game day. When Mia was 11, her mom moved overseas. Mia chose to stay with me. I chose everything else around her. That's when Mom and Lauren shifted their angle. They stopped pretending their demands were about them and started saying they were for Mia. A bigger Christmas means memories for the child. Family vacations help children feel secure. We need a nicer venue. Mia is at the age where impressions matter. Every ask arrived with a moral bow on top. If I said no, I wasn't just cheap. I was a bad father. 2 summers ago, I paid off the last of Mom's credit card debt. 5 cards. Interest chewing through her paycheck like moths through curtains. I set up a budget, made a spreadsheet, even printed a cute pie chart she could put on the fridge. She laughed. "You're so organized," and then applied for a store card for the points. A month later, she texted, "Balance is high again. We'll fix it together." Lauren's emergencies came in waves. A car repair that mysteriously matched the price of concert tickets she posted on Instagram. A job delay that always coincided with a vacation. The infamous bridal shower deposit that, if you listen to her version, I had promised to cover in exchange for peace. I had never said that word. She did, often. By last Christmas, the pattern had hardened. Mom curated, Lauren commanded, Henry funded. The extended family played along because there were favors to collect. A rent extension here, a borrowed power washer there, a tuition payment for a cousin's summer class, because Henry believes in education. Every time I tried to enforce a boundary, Lauren labeled it therapy talk and rolled her eyes. When I told them I had set aside money for Mia's trip fund, a real jar, cash, deliberately analog, so we could count progress together, Mom smiled and said it was sweet, then asked if she could borrow from it, just until the check clears. I said no. She didn't ask again, but later, I found the jar moved 2 inches on the shelf, and $20 lighter. I don't believe in ghosts. The week before this Christmas, the group chat started heating up. Mom posted the menu like a wedding planner. Lauren posted a spreadsheet of roles, as if she were hiring staff. Henry, buy all groceries, prep, cook, pay tip for delivery. Mia, cookies, macarons, plating, table decor. Everyone else, arrive, enjoy, bring good vibes. I sent one message. We'll contribute what we can, but Mia isn't kitchen staff. Lauren replied instantly. Stop making drama. It's one morning. She needs to learn to serve her family. Mom added, people noticed last year when dessert was late. I put the phone face down. Mia, who was watching me read, asked, we're not doing that, right? We're not, I said. Then, because years of habit are stubborn, I added, but let's try to keep the peace. Keeping the peace turned into Lauren texting Mia directly for clarifications. It turned into Mom sending me screenshots of the guest list with notes like, Cousin Nick is keto now. Adjust. It turned into a request for me to front the caterer for backup trays, even though the backup trays were the entire meal. The smallest fracture, what clinicians call a micro-rupture, happened 3 days before Christmas. I stopped by Mom's to drop off a roasting pan. Lauren was at the table with a stack of envelopes and a glass of wine. When she went to the bathroom, a document sat on top of the pile. It was a contract for a home renovation loan. In my name. My full name, my old address. A signature that looked like mine if you squinted and didn't really know me. My hands shook as I carefully put it back down. When she came back, I asked, what is this? She smiled too quickly. Relax. It's a quote. You're so jumpy. It's an application, I said. She shrugged. You weren't supposed to see that yet. Mom called from the kitchen, cheerful in that brittle way. Henry, don't ruin the mood. Ruin the mood? I took a photo and emailed it to myself. Then I left the pan and walked out. I told myself I would address it after the holiday. That confronting them would create a scene. That scenes were bad for Mia. I coached people all day about courage and clarity. And then I went home and made excuses for my own fear. So when Lauren handed my kid a guest list and told her to start cooking at 3 a.m., it wasn't about food. It was about ownership. About who belonged to whom. I chose. Not them. At 12:42 a.m., while Mia brushed her teeth and triple-checked her passport, my phone started its little death rattle. First, the group chat. Lauren, where are you? Mom, answer now. Lauren, if you're trying to make a point, it's not funny. Then the private texts. Mom, you're embarrassing me. Lauren, grow up. I didn't answer. I printed our boarding passes as if paper could shield me from their words. At 12:59 a.m., Mom called. Then called again. Then switched to FaceTime. I let the third one ring through, then picked up. Her face filled the screen. That tight smile she uses when she's about to scold like a teacher. Henry, get home right now. We have 40 guests. People will notice. Behind her, Lauren leaned into frame, already angry. This isn't about you, she snapped. Stop weaponizing your daughter. I held the phone steady. We're not coming. Mom laughed. It sounded like breaking glass. Don't be ridiculous. This is Christmas. You two will sleep here. I've already arranged everything. I didn't agree to that, I said. Mia didn't either. Lauren made a scoffing sound. Oh my God, the therapy voice. Say the boundary thing, Henry. Go ahead. I kept my voice flat. Here's the boundary. We don't cook for 40 people at 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't sign loans we didn't apply for. And you don't text my kid like she's your assistant. Mom blinked. Loan. I held the camera steady on my face. Don't insult me. Lauren went still for half a second. Then she laughed too, but there was a flicker in her eyes. You're overreacting. It's exploratory. You're so dramatic. I took a photo of it, I said. I also called the bank. If any hard inquiry hits my credit, I'll file a report and send them the screenshot. Mom's voice softened the way it does when she's about to make something my fault. Henry, sweetheart, you know your sister's been under stress. She's trying to improve the house for all of us. You have a good income. This is what family does. No, I said. Simple. Clean. Lauren snapped. So, you let your mother host a disaster and humiliate herself? She's not hosting a disaster, I said. She's hosting a party without us. The gate agent announced pre-boarding. Mia zipped her backpack and looked at me. I put the call on speaker so I didn't have to see their faces. Lauren's tone turned mocking. Where are you even going? Running away with your emotional support child. How old are you? Old enough, I said, to know better than to raise her in a system that eats girls alive. Mom hissed. Do not accuse me of harming my granddaughter. Then stop harming her, I said. Stop volunteering her labor. Stop using my money to audition for best host. Silence. The good kind. The honest kind. Lauren broke it first. If you think you're cutting us off, you're delusional. I lifted a folder into view of the camera. Inside, printouts. Bank statements with highlighted transfers. Venmo screenshots. The text thread where Lauren told Mia to wake up at 2:45 because ovens take time. The photo of the loan application. The guest list annotated like a battle plan. If you push, I said, calm as a measured dose. I will send this to every adult on that list. They can decide who's delusional. Mom whispered. You wouldn't. You have 40 minutes before your first guest arrives, I said. Use them well. Lauren pivoted to the old playbook. You're heartless. After everything we've done for you. I almost laughed. What exactly have you done for me? You were a difficult child, Mom said, automatically. I was a child, I replied. People will notice, she repeated, softer now, like a prayer. Good, I said. Let them. I hung up. My hand shook, but my voice didn't. Mia slid her hand into mine. Proud of you, she said quietly. On the plane, as the cabin lights dimmed, I drafted one final message. Not to the family chat. To myself. A note that read, you don't owe anyone your daughter's sleep, your credit score, or your peace. I hit save. Then I slept for the first time in weeks. We landed in Denver at dawn. Mia wanted snow and waffles and a hotel pool that looked like a greenhouse. I rented the cheapest car with heated seats and let her pick the music. We ate waffles with our coats still on, watching the sun make the ice glitter. By 8 a.m., my phone had become a siren. Missed calls stacked like poker chips. Voicemails transcribed into tidy little paragraphs of rage. Mom, I cannot believe you humiliated me. Lauren, hope your little trip was worth ruining Christmas. Aunt Joanna, your mother is crying. Fix this. Cousin Nick. Bro, we showed up to nothing. Not cool. I put the phone on Do Not Disturb and taught Mia how to parallel park with snowbanks as bumpers. We bought thrift store jackets for half price and tried on ridiculous hats. We swam in the greenhouse pool and pretended the glass roof was a spaceship leaving Earth. At noon, I broke my own rule and checked the family chat. Photos had started rolling in mid-morning. The empty buffet table. My note on the oven door. A selfie of Lauren with a martyr's expression and the caption, some people are selfish. Then, mercifully, another stream. This time from relatives I hadn't expected. Cousin Leia. Wait, why was a teenager supposed to cook for 40? Uncle Dan. You told us Henry insisted on hosting. Aunt May. I brought a casserole because I had a feeling. Someone posted a screenshot of Lauren's rolls spreadsheet. Someone else posted a snippet from my mother's text where she'd said, Henry will cover expenses. He owes us after last year. The thread tilted. I watched in real time as the story unraveled. Then Amelia, the one cousin who always sees everything, direct messaged me. Do you want me to send you the video? I replied, sure. It was a 30-second clip of Lauren in the kitchen, waving my note like a flag. He thinks he's teaching us a lesson, she said. Well, lesson received. Never trust a man who reads therapy books. Off camera, someone asked where the food was. Lauren said, Henry was going to pay the caterer. He said he'd cover it. A whisper from Amelia, behind her phone. Lie. You could just hear it. I didn't post the clip. I saved it. I didn't need a bonfire. The sparks were already drifting. By evening, the DMs turned. Aunt Joanna again, softer. I didn't know they asked Mia to cook. That's not okay. Uncle Dan. If Lauren forged anything, that's a crime. Even Cousin Nick sent. I shouldn't have called you. I was mad. Sorry. I answered no one. Not yet. Instead, I opened my laptop at the hotel desk and did what I should have done months ago. I froze the credit monitoring on my accounts. Set up alerts for any hard inquiry. Removed Lauren from the spare key list at Mom's building. Because of contractor access, a lie I told the property manager once and now corrected. I canceled the auto pay that covered Mom's orphan store card. Then I wrote an email to Mom and Lauren. No chat, no emojis, no oxygen for the drama. Subject, financial boundaries, effective immediately. Body, I will not be paying for events I do not plan. I will not be responsible for any debt that is not mine. Any application in my name will be met with a report to the bank and to the police if necessary. Mia is not to be asked directly for labor, favors, errands, or roles by any adult without my consent. If money is requested from me, it will be declined. If a need is legitimate, medical, safety, it must be documented, and we will discuss it with a mediator present. Do not contact Mia directly for family logistics. Future holidays will be on our terms. It was the driest email I've ever written. It was also the kindest thing I could do, for both of us. Clarity is kindness. Chaos is cruelty dressed as spontaneity. They didn't reply. They called 20 times. Mia watched cartoons and ate a second waffle. I let the calls die. On day 2, the first consequence arrived. Mom's neighbor texted me. Your sister's car got towed. She's blaming you for ruining Christmas and making the block angry. FYI. Another text. Your mom asked me to front her cash for the caterer she booked, just in case, and never canceled. I said no. When we got back home, Denver snow still in our hair, we found a letter from the bank. We detected an attempted credit application in your name and blocked it. If this was you, call us. It wasn't me. I reported the fraud and sent the file number to Lauren with one line. Do not do this again. She responded with a wall of text. It began with, you're dramatic. Moved quickly to, you owe Mom. And ended with, you just killed our family. I wrote back, families don't die when boundaries show up. They heal or they break apart. Either way, it's honest. In my practice, January is always heavy. Resolutions meet reality. This year, I sat across from clients and for once felt like I wasn't a hypocrite when I said, you teach people how to treat you. I told a teenager to stop reading her mother's mood like a weather report. I told a father that love doesn't require swallowing your voice. I drove home and told myself the same things out loud, like a prayer. Mom tried a new tactic, sympathy. I'm older now, she texted. I can't do everything. I need you. I replied, I will help you make a budget and find a community center with free classes. I won't fund parties. I won't sign loans. I won't let you use Mia. She wrote, people noticed your absence. I said good. A week later, something shifted. Aunt May invited Mia and me over for chili on a Sunday. No fuss, she said. Just food. There were 4 people there. No spreadsheets, no speeches. No one asked Mia to set a single table. We ate. We laughed. And when I got up to load the dishwasher, out of habit, Aunt May pushed me gently back into my chair. Sit, she said. We are not those people. After that, invites trickled in from strange corners. A cousin's kid had a basketball game. Did Mia want to come? A neighbor's potluck with store-bought pies and no guilt. It was like the family system had cracked and light slipped through. Some of them stepped toward it. Some didn't. Lauren didn't. She doubled down. When Mom tried to defend her, Lauren used the oldest trick, divide and conquer. She told Mom I was stealing her grandson. I don't have a son. She told the cousins I'd threatened legal action. I did, against identity fraud. She told anyone who would listen that Mia had turned cold. She had. To people who treated her like staff. In March, Mom called to tell me Lauren was struggling. Rent late, car impounded, the renovation on hold. I said, I'm sorry. I meant it. Then I said, I can recommend a financial counselor. Mom sighed. You used to be generous. I used to be afraid, I said. By spring, the jar in our pantry was full. Mia counted the bills and grinned. We did it, she said. It was only a weekend trip to the coast. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. Bought with money that hadn't been siphoned into a hole labeled Family First. In June, I got a card in the mail from Amelia. Proud of you. It said inside, in her messy print. You did the thing most of us are too scared to do. There was a photo tucked behind it. Lauren at Christmas, standing in front of an empty table. Looking small. Not victorious. Not righteous. Just small. I tucked the photo into a drawer, not to gloat, but to remember why we left. I used to think being a good son meant absorbing impact. I thought love was measured in how quietly I carried weight. I confused compliance with care. That's the story I was handed. I practiced it until I could perform it without thinking. It took my daughter's calm, sure gaze to wake me up. It took a guest list taped to a teenager's hand to show me what